Hi, just to let you know, I'm male and I really like watches. I work in London, but I pass by here every weekend. Right. I'm 41 years old, but I'm a massive fan of One Direction. Welcome to Click, I'm Spencer Kelly, and welcome to York. This is an ancient English city, but it's doing some pretty 21st century things. Now, of the millions of tourists who visit here every year, more and more of them these days are going to want to go online while they're here using their smartphones, and York is one of the first UK cities to offer its own citywide free Wi-Fi. Now, I say free, but we all know what they say about free lunches, don't we? There are none. So have you ever wondered what you're giving up when you go online? These dots are shop customers moving around the store in real time. It's actually their mobiles that are being tracked, and it's happening without their owner's knowledge. When your device is searching for a Wi-Fi network to connect to, it repeatedly broadcasts short pings of information which include the device's unique identification number, something called a MAC address. The system here listens for these pings, and by triangulating their origin, it can get a pretty accurate idea of where you've been, even if you never actually connect to the Wi-Fi.
From this location map, we know exactly where a lot of people are spending time, and there's a way where we can filter the data, how many minutes they are spending time. So for example, if you know they are spending 3 minutes in the chilled area, that helps us to improve more and more and to increase more time to the customers.
Although your device's MAC address doesn't tell the system anything about you, as soon as you connect to the free Wi-Fi offered in and around the shop, everything changes. When you log in with Facebook, Twitter or an email address, all of that historic location data is then linked to your profile, to you. And it's not just within the walls of the shop that the Wi-Fi system logs data. It also picks up thousands of passers-by every day, many of whom may never enter the shop at all. Now, this system works on something the size of a shop, but in York, the analytics company behind it, Purple Wi-Fi, is planning something on a much larger scale. By 2015, it's hoping to install the same tracking technology across whole parts of the city. Unlike the shop-based system, at the moment it's still quite limited and only tracks your rough location, even once you've logged on. But even that information is proving useful to York's council.
It's early days and it's only been up and running for a few weeks, but already we can actually tell the people who are using the Wi-Fi where they're coming from in terms of origin and actually where they're going within York. So as an authority and businesses, we're getting a better insight to that footfall. We've actually seen the vast majority of people logging on are from middle-aged females from outside of the UK.
When the full location tracking and profiling system goes live next year, the deal will be this. You get free Wi-Fi in exchange for information about who you are and where you've been. So, is this a fair trade? Purple Wi-Fi's boss told me that you would see plenty of benefits if you're willing to give up that information.
In a city type scenario like this, it's understanding where are the choke points, you know, where's the traffic of people, how do they move, and if you take it a step further, you can start to take that data and control lighting or parking. So if an area's got no people, why are the lights on?
But it does mean that before you actually log on to the Wi-Fi, you don't have so much information about that particular device's movements, which
No.
I guess is annoying.
It is and it isn't. I mean, I think there's a value in understanding the way devices generally move around, because that shows you some of the footfall and just anonymous data, so that is useful. Where it becomes really interesting though is once we know more about you, we know your age, your gender, your social interests, who you're friends with in the city, because that's when we can start to push hyper-local relevant information.
But here's the thing. Remember that the system can match your personal information to your device's movements even before you logged on to the network? Well, Purple Wi-Fi is planning to keep that location data for up to a year.
How do you think people would feel about knowing that you know where they've been?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't tracking you for 12 months.
But you were tracking my device.
We were tracking
which is as good as
a device.
A device that you
that
now
we
know is
nothing
mine. So
about.
you now know where I've been for the last 12 months.
Absolutely. And to be honest, every bit of feedback we've had from users is, if you're giving me something relevant, I'm happy. If you're going to send me a load of spammy stuff, don't bother.
Now, all this information is there in the terms and conditions that need to be accepted before you log on. You know, those terms and conditions, the ones that we all read thoroughly before we click OK.
Do you think that the message click here to view the terms and conditions goes far enough?
I think it does, and I think any terms and conditions of any network usage comes with that value trade-off of your experience. You're going to get the free Wi-Fi comes at a small value of trading off some of your personal information.
Is there an option for people to join the Wi-Fi but opt out of having their MAC addresses recorded and tracked?
No.
Do you think there should be?
No. I think it's a fair exchange of value. There is a cost to put equipment up, to provide the connectivity, to provide an overlay of software, and it's a fair exchange of value. You want free Wi-Fi because you don't want to use up your data. The exchange of value is that you're going to share that data.
These sorts of insights are only possible because of the unique combination of location information and demographic social media information. But the harvesting of anonymous device information is described as a grey area in terms of data protection. In fact, last year the City of London banned Wi-Fi enabled dustbins installed on public streets after it emerged that they too were logging MAC addresses in a similar way without getting explicit consent from passers-by.
And although you just heard Gavin Wilden tell me he didn't think there should be an option to opt out of having your MAC address recorded, after our interview, Purple Wi-Fi got back in touch with us and said that they may consider an opt-out system. Now, I'm not sure how definite that sounds to you, but anyway. This issue of opting out has already reared its head in the US. Jen Copestake went to Washington to investigate something called the Wireless Registry, which may allow you to take back control of the data associated with your phone.
If the idea of constant retail tracking doesn't appeal to you, what can you do about it? As we've seen, your phone sends out a unique identifier called a MAC address. One startup called the Wireless Registry wants to become the go-to company for taking back control of what it calls your proximal identity, the signals you emit from your smartphone.
We have the patent for allowing people to take control of their signal and decide what's associated with it. That's what the patent covers. The idea is to allow people to take control of their wireless identity. People have this wireless identity anyway, and we're allowing people to take control of it by registering and deciding what's associated with those wireless identities.
With the Wireless Registry, you can choose to opt out of having the data associated with your signals tracked. Working with the Future of Privacy Forum, it's created the platform smartstoreprivacy.org, offering a mobile analytics opt-out. You enter your phone's MAC addresses for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and a range of major companies that collect traffic data for retail stores say they won't collect yours. While not governed by law, the companies who have signed up are following this Mobile Location Analytics Code of Conduct. This is really focused at American consumers, but the Wireless Registry wants to take this idea around the world.
We've intended from day one to be global. We take wireless names in every character set of the world, and we actually, we're very much in discussions globally, and we think that that's just another barrier that's been in the way in the past for developers.
But the laws around privacy in this sphere are far from universal.
In the US, where you don't have general data protection rights to protect you against this kind of tracking, then the Wireless Registry opt-out is a step forward. I do think, though, that most people won't be aware that the technology is being used at all, never mind that they have to go and register with a specific opt-out registry.
Not only do people not know where to look, but when you do find information about privacy, it can be confusing. People are campaigning to make the privacy terms and conditions associated with websites much more readable and transparent. A recent study by Deloitte showed it would take the average British internet user up to 31 hours a year to properly read through these terms.
I don't think it's right to say that so long as there's a 20,000 word legalistic privacy policy, that someone has clicked OK to they've genuinely then consented to everything in it.
In recent weeks, we've heard Apple is working on creating a new privacy platform for its iOS 8 mobile operating system. It will randomize your MAC addresses, so the unique identifier being broadcast from your phone may be different every time. If they go ahead with it, this could be a huge blow for retail data collection. Of course, you could simply turn off the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi signals on your phone if you want to remain unseen. Ultimately, that's not what the Wireless Registry wants you to do. As well as the opt-out option, there's an opt-in, allowing you to share your personal data and control the wireless identity you broadcast around you. I signed up and created my own hotspot and linked my social networks to it.
We pinned your Twitter, your LinkedIn, and your Facebook to your wireless signal. So anytime you want anyone to pick it up, just by being within proximity of you, they can see all your social media. I can easily just, click on your Twitter and I would be able to follow your feed just by, being in proximity of you.
While it may appear scary to some that a stranger could sit next to you and see so much personal data, at least there are now systems emerging which allow us to control what others see.
And that's it for the short version of this week's Click. Want more? Head on over to iPlayer. The full-length version of the programme here in York is there right now. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.